You ever feel like your mind is holding you back? Well, if you understand the cognitive functions, which are the 8 different pieces that make up your Myers Briggs personality type, then you can do some amazing things, not just inside, like having more self understanding, more self appreciation, things like that, but you can also have a bigger or better impact in the world in the way that you want by showing up as a more educated and resourceful version of yourself. So in this video, we're going to talk about 5 different reasons why understanding cognitive functions is really helpful for you for showing up as your best self. So the first thing that is really important for us is just the fact that you have language for how you perceive the world and how you make decisions is extremely helpful. Even if it's just about yourself, like, oh, I use extroverted intuition, like I value extroverted intuition. So of course I'm going to have a bit of a sporadic mindset. I'm going to ping pong all over the place and, explode in a bunch of different directions with ideas and link this thing to this thing and then combine it over here and see what emerges from there. Like that's part of my process. That doesn't make me ADHD. It makes me someone who uses extroverted intuition. And okay, I'm an introverted feeler, so I make decisions based off evaluating what is important to me and my identity and maybe who I want to become and who I am and all these different parts of myself. I kind of communicate with them and ask does this feel right to us? Does this feel right to us? How do you feel about this other part? And for most people, that might sound a bit crazy, but really it's just how I make decisions. I evaluate how much do I like this thing, how much does it resonate with me, how harmonious am I inside with all of these different factors. Okay, if I didn't know that, I would just think I'm broken. I would think I'm weird. I think I'm flawed. Maybe I am a bit weird, and that's fine too. I appreciate that now instead of hating it or hating me because I feel that is attached to my identity, when really it's just it's a preference and it's actions that I take. I generate ideas and I attach those to people and things, and I give sentience to to books and objects and things like that. Like that's just part of my personality, and I'm okay with it. Understanding cognitive functions gives you language for the things that are happening. You can say also, well, I struggle with organizing things and delegating tasks and managing resources. That's a part of my personality type as well, right? And because I have put it in that perspective, I can also improve at it. If there's something that you're struggling with and a domain in your life that, you struggle with getting too attached to the past in a not so helpful way, well, maybe you can think that introverted sensing, the guardian, if you want to personify it as a character, is maybe not one of your strengths. And so you can spend time developing gratitude habits and things like that. And it just makes it easier. The second aspect is that with that self-understanding and being able to give a name to something that you are doing, you can also appreciate it within yourself and then appreciate it within other people. You can start to forgive other people for the things that they do that you don't like. You can start to realize how you are projecting certain things that you don't like about yourself onto other people unnecessarily. And through that, you can weave, you can adapt, and you can have better relationships because you understand more about how people are doing certain things that they're doing and why they perceive the world in the way that they do and why they're making decisions in the way that they do. My wife is an ENFJ, I'm an INFP. When we have an altercation, usually it's because she's trying to do her personality type in the best way that she can and thinks that that's the right way for me to do it. And I'm trying to do my personality type in the best way that I can, and I think that's the way that she should do it. We're prescribing how to do these things, what's the best approach onto the other person. And so having that realization, creating a bit of dissociation or distance from that, you can start to rethink it, and you can adapt and weave and make the best choice from there. The next one, by having 8 different cognitive functions, And knowing more about them and doing what I do and what I recommend within like Path of Heroes Academy and the INFP Masterclass, the Evolve community, I always throw this approach in, is to personify the cognitive functions, give them a character class, give them a name, make them into an animal or something like that if you want, and use them as tools to make better decisions and to see the world differently. And by doing that, you can get unstuck. You can have 8 different perspectives for how you approach a situation instead of being limited to your main 1 or 2 approaches. The reason why we are stuck in the ways that we are is usually because we just lack perspective, and seeing things from a different way allows us to take different actions. It doesn't take the action for us, but eventually, once you see that this is the way that you should go, eventually you start to gravitate in that direction or take steps into that direction, whatever your metaphor is. So it can be really helpful, and especially in like creative pursuits. Creative as in, actual like art and things like that, but also different projects and things, so that you're not stuck in one perspective and you say, I bet the INTPs are going to want a little bit more like statistics and data and things like that, like a little more scientific rigor within it. Okay, you add that in there and then you're good, hopefully. Grounding decisions in cognitive function insights can really help you to be more rigorous with your choices in your life and end up at a better place. So for example, I'm an INFP. Introverted intuition is not my main approach. It's something I've learned to develop. This is about foresight and seeing things from different perspectives, kind of getting a meta perspective over the whole thing, understanding how the pattern is unfolding. Since I don't naturally do that, by adding that into my decision-making process, I can zoom out into my timeline 20 years from now, 30 years, 10 years, even 3 weeks, something longer than I normally do, and look back and say, okay, did I make the right choice? Is this where I want to be? If I evolve or transform into this version of myself, is that going to be good? Is that ecological? And you can do that with all 8 of the cognitive functions: the adept, the commander, the mystic, the explorer, the soul, the envoy, the guardian, or the adventurer. Sometimes I need to just like log on to the adventurer and touch grass, be outside, enjoy the sensory experience more. And that often, puts me in a different context and allows me to do different things and make different choices. That's a good thing. So same for you too. If you're stuck on something, or you're spending way too much time overanalyzing and not actually making a decision, you might want to, dip into some of these other cognitive functions, some of your other parts, and say, okay, commander, what do you think I should do? I'll probably track and measure something, then take the first step. Yeah, probably, So it helps you get not just more insights, but again, more rigorous understanding and more perspectives so that you can make a more educated decision. And the last one is really important when we're thinking about who are we becoming and honoring our skills and our strengths. I believe that we should focus on our strengths. Yes, it's important to shore up our weaknesses. And if you got extra time, if everything else is good, then okay, start working on those other things, the weaknesses. But the world needs you to lean into your strengths. And if you understand cognitive functions and you understand how to not just intellectually understand them, but how to apply them, how to embody them in certain ways, how to log on to those characters. Like if you got to go talk to somebody and you're feeling a bit uncomfortable, log on to your envoy. Focus on breathing as you would imagine an ENFJ, ESFJ breathing after you've gotten rid of a lot of that baggage around it, perhaps. And then proactively approach, smile, communicate, meet the other person's needs, understand their culture, whether it's a personal culture or, I live in Japan, so I meet a lot of not just Japanese people, but people from all over the world. It's so helpful. But it all allows you to authentically build more of you into your interactions, to be more authentically you, to show up as your character class in the best way that's possible, so that you can help other people too. Not just yourself, but like bring that skill to the world. I always think of it as like a raid in an RPG, like World of Warcraft or something like that. You know, even just a party, okay? Within us, we are also a microcosm of that. We have these different characters, these different cognitive functions, these different roles that are being played. It's completely natural. It's part of how our psyche is structured, and they are actual physical constructs. Like your brain gets activated, and this region FP1 up here logs on to, becomes executive with one of the parts, and then you take actions from there. Anyway, that's, I suppose, a bit more than we're going to get into in this video, but it just really helps you like have pride in who you are and how you're showing up to the world. The world needs you to play your character class so that the other people can do their thing to their best degree. The world needs supports, caring people who want to help another individual succeed and feel good about themselves, shield them from toxicity of the world. That's how I show up. And hopefully you are showing up as one of the better versions of your personality type too. I mean, we all have ways that we can grow and expand and improve. But that constant focus of how can I be more authentic with myself and also the good aspects of my personality type, and shore up some of those weaknesses, really helps you understand your potential in the world. Those are some thoughts about how understanding your cognitive functions help you show up as a better version of yourself. I'd like to know how it's helped you as well. Let me know down below in the comments, and you can check out this video over here for a deeper dive into the cognitive functions too. Good luck, have fun. Peace.